Deep within the Galactic Council's central station, an imposing structure floating in the expanse of space near the Milky Way's vibrant core, the atmosphere was unusually tense. In the Grand Archives, a place usually filled with the quiet murmur of historians and the soft beep of scanning equipment, there was a flurry of activity. Archivist Thalrek, a thin and wiry Selexian with eyes that seemed too big for his gaunt face, shuffled through ancient holograms with an intensity that drew attention. His colleague, Yorn, a burly and battle-scarred veteran of many diplomatic skirmishes, leaned over his shoulder, peering at the flickering images. "What have you found, Thalrek? You look as if you've seen a ghost," Jorn remarked, his deep voice echoing slightly in the vast chamber. "It's not a ghost, but it might as well be," Thalrek muttered, adjusting his spectacles. "This scripture, it's from the abandoned sectors, predating our oldest civilizations. And it mentions humans. Humans." Jorn furrowed his brow, the scars from past battles stretching with the movement. "Never heard of them. Are you sure it's not a translation error?" Thalrek shook his head, his thin fingers tapping on the datapad to enhance the ancient symbols. "No error, Yorn. The script is clear. Look here." He pointed at the shimmering text. The passage describes a species rising from the dust of a lesser star, venturing forth into the cosmos with dreams of unity and exploration. Yorn's eyes narrowed as he read the description. Dreams of unity, huh? Sounds like a lot of the young races we know. What makes these humans special? "That's just it," Thalrek replied, scrolling through more data. "There's more. This isn't just one mention. There are multiple references across several relics. I think they were significant, perhaps central to some forgotten chapter of galactic history." A third figure approached, their steps silent but swift. Commander Varex, a tactical officer known for his strategic mind, joined the discussion. "I overheard your conversation. Humans, you say? If they were of any importance, why has no one heard of them until now?" "That's the mystery," Thalrek said. "I suspect their records were deliberately erased or lost. This could be a fragment of a much larger story, one that someone didn't want remembered." Varex crossed his arms, his face a mask of contemplation. "If there's any truth to this, it could have serious implications. We should investigate this further. Thalrek, can you locate the origin of these artifacts?" Thalrek nodded, his fingers flying over the holographic interface. "Yes, the trail leads to a sector that's been off-limits for centuries, supposedly too unstable for travel. But with the right precautions, we could uncover a goldmine of history," Jorn interjected, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of potential discovery. Varex looked from Thalrek to Jorn, making his decision. "Prepare a team. I'll speak with the council and arrange for clearance. We're going to find out who these humans were, and why they've been hidden from us." As the three figures set about their tasks, the archive hummed with renewed vigor. The potential of a discovery that could shake the foundations of known history galvanized them, each member of the team aware that they stood on the brink of something monumental. The possibility of uncovering a lost civilization, especially one as potentially influential as the humans, was more than enough to stir the blood of any historian, adventurer, or strategist. Their preparations were meticulous, their resolve firm. Unbeknownst to them, their actions would soon set off a chain of events that would indeed change the course of galactic history. On the windswept plains of northern Scotland, Dr. Thomas Harding carefully brushed away the soil from a newly uncovered artifact at his archaeological dig site. The chilly wind tugged at his coat, but his focus was unyielding as he examined the unusual object nestled within the earth. It was a skull, human in shape but embedded with a device that shimmered with an alien luster under the overcast sky. "Dr. Harding, have you found something?" called out his assistant Mia, as she approached him with a digital recorder in hand. Thomas looked up, his eyes reflecting a mix of excitement and bewilderment. "Indeed, Mia. This isn't anything we've seen before. Look at this technology. It's not human, or at least not anything modern humans have made." Mia knelt beside him, her brow furrowed as she studied the skull. "It looks ancient, yet this," she touched the embedded device lightly, "seems incredibly advanced. Do you think it could be extraterrestrial?" "It's a possibility we can't ignore," Thomas admitted, taking out his phone to snap several photos. "We need to get this analyzed by a materials expert. But for now, let's keep this between us. If this is what I think it is, we don't want the wrong people getting interested." As the day wore on, they carefully extracted the artifact and transported it to Thomas's lab, located in a nondescript building a few miles from the dig site. The lab was cluttered with relics and research equipment, a testament to Thomas's long career in archaeology. Once inside, Thomas placed the artifact under a high-resolution scanner, watching as the device whirred and clicked, analyzing the embedded technology. As he waited, he paced back and forth, his mind racing with possibilities. Mia watched him, her notebook at the ready. "What do you think we'll find?" "I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it's going to be groundbreaking. This could change our understanding of human history," Thomas said, stopping to glance at the scanning monitor, which started to display the composition of the embedded device. The door to the lab suddenly swung open, and in walked Dr. Ian Fletcher, a materials scientist, an old friend of Thomas. His gaze quickly fell on the scanner's output. "I got here as soon as you called. What's this we're looking at?" Thomas gestured toward the screen. "Something potentially world-changing. This artifact, embedded in a human skull, might just be alien in origin." Ian adjusted his glasses, peering intently at the data. "The composition. These aren't materials found on Earth." "You might be onto something here, Tom." As the data continued to pour in, revealing more about the mysterious device, the trio discussed the potential implications. "If this is alien, then it suggests that humans had contact with extraterrestrials far earlier than we thought," Ian proposed, his voice filled with a mix of scientific curiosity and caution. Thomas nodded, his mind already leaping ahead. "And if that's the case, then we need to understand the full extent of this contact. Was it peaceful, collaborative, or something else?" Mia chimed in. "We should look into historical records, myths, anything that might give us clues about ancient human-alien interactions." "That's a good start," Thomas agreed. "Let's dig deeper into history and see what we can uncover. Ian, can you take more detailed scans and maybe start looking into how this device might have functioned?" "On it," Ian replied, turning back to his instruments. As the evening drew on, the lab became a hub of activity, each member of the team dedicated to unraveling the mystery of the alien technology. Thomas felt a surge of anticipation. He knew they were on the verge of something monumental, a discovery that could redefine humanity's place in the cosmos. In the dimly lit corridors of the Galactic Council's covert operations ship, Zalara, a highly skilled agent from a race known for their tactical acumen, received her briefing from Commander Verex. The holographic map in front of them displayed a vibrant blue planet, Earth. "Our mission is clear," Verex stated, his voice echoing slightly in the quiet room. "We need to understand the humans and retrieve the artifact that Dr. Harding has uncovered. It seems to hold keys to their past, and potentially their capabilities." Zalara nodded, her features set in determination. "Understood, Commander. My team is ready. We've studied their communications, culture, and societal structures. We'll blend in without detection." "Remember, Zalara, this mission is about gathering information. We are not to engage unless absolutely necessary. The Council wants this handled discreetly." Zalara turned to leave but paused. "And the humans? What if they discover our true nature?" Verex's gaze was steely. "That's a risk we have to take, but do everything to prevent it. Humanity must not know of the Council or the wider galaxy yet." With her orders clear, Zalara and her team made their descent to Earth. They adapted their appearances using advanced cloaking technology, taking on human forms. Once on the surface, they split up to integrate into different parts of society, gathering as much information as possible. Meanwhile, in a bustling cafe in London, Dr. Thomas Harding met with Mia and Ian to discuss their findings. The cafe was alive with the chatter of its patrons, providing a perfect cover for their conversation. "From what Ian has found, this artifact isn't just alien. It's ancient, possibly predating most known civilizations we've studied," Thomas explained, his voice low. "It has elements in it that don't match anything in our periodic table." Mia, ever the diligent assistant, took notes on her digital pad. "So we're potentially looking at a civilization that was capable of interstellar travel long before we even invented the wheel?" "That's what it looks like," Ian chimed in, sipping his coffee. "And whatever this device is, it was important. It might have been a part of a larger system or technology." As they delved deeper into their discussion, unbeknownst to them, Zalara sat a few tables away, disguised as a local university student. Her advanced auditory sensors picked up every word they said, transmitting it back to her team. "Dr. Harding is closer to the truth than we expected," she reported quietly to her device. "He knows the artifact is alien. They're investigating its origins and capabilities." "Keep close tabs on him," came the reply from her team leader. If he uncovers too much, we may need to intervene. The day progressed, and Zalara followed Thomas from a distance as he went about his research and meetings. Her observations revealed much about human behavior, their curiosity, and their relentless pursuit of knowledge. Yet she couldn't help but feel a growing respect for their species, their unyielding desire to understand the universe, and their place within it. As night fell, Zalara sent her reports, filled with detailed observations of human technology, culture, and potential for advancement. She ended her communication with a note of caution. There is much we underestimated about the humans. They are more complex and capable than our reports suggested. Back on her ship, as she reviewed the day's data, Zalara pondered the implications of her findings. The mission was more than just reconnaissance now. It was a deep dive into the potential re-emergence of a lost species into the galactic fold. The weight of what that meant for both humans and the Galactic Council weighed heavily on her shoulders. Back in his cluttered lab, Dr. Thomas Harding was engrossed in a sea of ancient texts and digital archives, with Mia at his side. They were searching for any historical evidence that might hint at previous human contact with extraterrestrials. Ian Fletcher, working remotely, sent through data as he decoded more of the artifact's intricate structure. "Tom, look at this," Mia exclaimed, pointing to a digital image of a cave painting that displayed figures reaching towards the stars, surrounded by symbols that closely resembled those on the artifact. This was discovered in a cave in India. These symbols here, they could be depicting the same story told by the artifact. Thomas leaned in, scrutinizing the image. "You might be onto something, Mia. This could represent an ancient understanding of the stars, perhaps even a visitation." He quickly took notes, his mind racing with the possibilities. At the same time, Ian's voice came through the speaker. "I've managed to activate part of the device. It's projecting a hologram, but it's incomplete. It looks like it might be a star map or a navigation aid." "Can you send the projection to us?" Thomas asked, his voice tinged with excitement. "Sending it now," Ian replied, and moments later, a holographic display shimmered to life in the middle of the lab. The partial map showed star systems, some of which were known, while others were entirely unfamiliar. "This is incredible," Mia murmured, her eyes wide as she observed the hologram. "It's like a piece of a puzzle we didn't even know was missing." Thomas paced around the hologram, pondering their next move. "If we can find where these unknown systems are located in our current star maps, it might point us to where these visitors came from." Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, Zalara continued her surveillance. She reported back to her superiors. "The humans have activated part of the device. It appears to be a star map. They're closer to understanding its purpose." Her commander's voice was stern. "Monitor their progress closely, Zalara. We cannot afford to have them make full sense of it before we understand the implications." Back on Earth, Thomas, Mia, and Ian worked through the night, comparing the ancient star map with modern astronomical data. The task was daunting, but as dawn approached, they had identified several potential matches. "We need to focus our research on these star systems," Thomas decided, marking the data points on the map. Whatever civilization made this device might have originated from one of them. As they delved deeper into the mystery, the historical implications of their findings began to reshape their understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. Ancient texts and myths from various cultures seemed to echo the stories told by the artifact, suggesting a shared history with these alien visitors that had been lost to time. With every piece of the puzzle that fell into place, Thomas felt both exhilaration and apprehension. They were standing on the brink of a discovery that could change everything. The thought was thrilling, but also terrifying in its magnitude. In the shadowy confines of the Galactic Council's command center, tension hung thick as the air itself. Zalara reported to Commander Varex and the assembled council members, who listened intently to her findings. The holographic images of Earth and Dr. Thomas Harding's lab flickered ominously in the background. "Dr. Harding has partially deciphered the artifact. They've discovered it includes a star map, potentially pointing to the origins of the device, and by extension, to a civilization unknown to us," Zalara explained, her voice betraying a hint of admiration for the humans' progress. Varex's expression hardened. "This confirms our fears. The humans are advancing too quickly. Their uncovering of this device could lead to an acceleration in their technological capabilities and, inevitably, to their discovery of the wider galactic community." A murmur ran through the council. One member, a high-ranking diplomat named Creel, leaned forward, his features twisted in concern. If humans learn of their past involvement in the galaxy and the powers they once wielded, it could disrupt the current balance of power. We've spent centuries maintaining stability. We must consider the possibility of intervening directly, suggested another member, Teresa, her tone clinical and detached. Perhaps by retrieving the artifact and erasing their recent memories of it. Varex nodded slowly, considering the implications. An intervention must be our last resort. For now, we continue to monitor. Zalara, ensure Dr. Harding does not complete the puzzle before we are prepared to act. Back on Earth, in the confines of his lab, Thomas, alongside Mia and Ian, remained oblivious to the galactic machinations concerning their discovery. They were too engrossed in their groundbreaking work, piecing together the ancient puzzle laid out by a civilization lost to time. Thomas turned to his colleagues, a serious look etched across his face. We're onto something monumental. But I have this nagging feeling we're being watched. We need to be careful about who we trust. Mia nodded, her expression mirroring Thomas's concern. I felt the same. Let's keep the circle tight. Only the three of us should have access to the full data for now. Meanwhile, Ian continued to analyze the artifact's technology. There's more to this device than just a star map. I believe it could be a part of a larger toolset, perhaps used for navigation or even communication across stellar distances. As the team discussed their next steps, Zalara observed from a distance. Her orders were clear, but as she watched the humans work with such fervor and unity of purpose, she began to question the morality of the Council's potential intervention. Her respect for humanity's tenacity and ingenuity grew, complicating her feelings about her mission. Late at night, as the lab lay quiet except for the soft hum of computers, Thomas stayed back, poring over an ancient manuscript that paralleled the artifact's inscriptions. Suddenly, the lab's security system alerted him to an anomaly outside the building. He switched on the external cameras and saw a shadowy figure near the perimeter. His heart raced as he realized they might not be as alone in their quest as he had hoped. Whoever is out there, they're interested in what we're doing here, Thomas muttered to himself, his mind racing through scenarios. It's time we prepare for all possibilities. The chapter closes with Thomas strengthening the lab's security measures, setting the stage for a confrontation that might soon force the Galactic Council's hand, pushing them to make a decision that could alter the course of human history forever. Tensions escalated within the chambers of the Galactic Council as the implications of humanity's potential resurgence became clear. Varex, now deeply involved in deliberations, faced opposition from several council members who were alarmed by the rapid progress of Dr. Thomas Harding and his team. We must take decisive action, Creel argued vehemently. The humans are uncovering technologies and histories that could empower them beyond our control. Their integration into the galactic fold must be on our terms, not as a result of their own rediscoveries. Varex, understanding the delicate balance of power at play, responded with measured calm. An aggressive approach may provoke a response we are ill-prepared to manage. Remember, we do not fully understand the extent of the technologies they might still possess, hidden on Earth. Meanwhile, on Earth, Thomas, Mia, and Ian continued their research with growing unease. They had fortified the lab against possible intrusions, but the sense of being watched persisted. Look at this, Ian said, revealing a new layer of the artifact that interfaced with unknown energy signatures. It's like a dormant power source is embedded within. If we can activate it, we might understand not just their navigation or communication, but perhaps their defense mechanisms. As they pondered the implications, Zalara watched from a hidden location. She had grown to admire the human's ingenuity and spirit, and her doubts about the Council's intentions deepened. Communicating quietly with her superiors, she voiced her concerns. Intervention could lead to open conflict. The humans have potential allies among the other races who value their tenacity and potential contributions to the galaxy. Back at the Council, Varex received the alarming news that Thomas and his team might soon unlock the artifact's full capabilities. With a heavy heart, he gave the order that would change the fate of two civilizations. Prepare for a preemptive strike, disable their communications, and retrieve the artifact. It's time to contain this situation. The Council's fleet, vast and formidable, moved into position near Earth's orbit, cloaked and waiting for the moment to strike. On Earth, unaware of the looming threat, Thomas's team worked through the night, racing to unlock the final secrets of the artifact. Suddenly, their lab systems lit up with alerts. "We've got incoming," Ian shouted as he monitored the real-time satellite feeds showing unidentified objects entering the atmosphere. Thomas turned to Mia, his decision made in an instant. We need to activate whatever this device is capable of. Now. Mia nodded, her fingers flying over the controls as they initiated the sequence that would awaken the ancient technology. A deep hum filled the room as the device came to life, emitting a pulsating light that grew steadily in intensity. In orbit, the Council's forces hesitated as they detected the activation of an unknown energy source from the lab. Varex, watching the developments unfold, felt a chill run down his spine. "Hold fire," he commanded. "We need to assess their capabilities before we proceed." On the ground, the artifact fully activated, projecting a shield that enveloped the lab and several surrounding kilometers. It was a defensive mechanism of incredible power, ancient yet far more advanced than anything the Council had in its arsenal. Zalara, witnessing the activation and the subsequent halt of the Council's attack, felt a mix of awe and fear. "They were guardians," she whispered to herself, realizing the true nature of humanity's forgotten role in the galaxy. As the dawn broke, Thomas and his team looked out at the shimmering barrier protecting them, aware that they had just declared their capability to defend themselves. Thomas's voice was resolute as he spoke to his team. "We're not just digging up the past, we're here to shape the future. Let's show them that humanity is ready to take back its place in the cosmos." The skies above Earth transformed into a theater of war as the Galactic Council's fleet, previously hidden, initiated their descent toward the planet. The Council, realizing the humans had activated ancient defenses, were forced to reconsider their strategy. In the command ship, Varex watched the glowing shield enveloping the lab and surrounding area. "That shield was not part of our calculations," he admitted grimly to his crew. "We need a new approach. Prepare to engage with ground forces. We need to test the extent of their defenses." Meanwhile, Zalara, conflicted by her orders and her growing respect for humanity, made a crucial decision. She contacted Dr. Harding directly, using a secure communication line she had kept in reserve. "Dr. Harding, my name is Zalara. I am a member of the Galactic Council's reconnaissance team. I believe we need to talk. You are in possession of technology that could change the balance of power in the galaxy, and my superiors are prepared to go to war over it." Thomas, taken aback by the sudden contact, was skeptical but realized the gravity of their situation. "We are prepared to defend ourselves, but we're open to dialogue. What can you tell us about this technology, and why it scares your council so much?" As they spoke, the council's ground troops advanced on the lab. Thomas and his team activated the defensive measures of the artifact, which included a series of drones and automated defenses that rose from the ground around the lab. The technology, though ancient, was incredibly effective, holding back the initial wave of attackers. In space, Varex ordered his ships to hold position, watching the battle unfold. "If they have more of these defenses, a full assault might lead to unnecessary losses," he reasoned. "Let's see how this plays out." Back on the ground, Ian and Mia worked alongside Thomas to coordinate their defenses. "These systems are intuitive. It's almost as if they're designed to be operated by us," Ian noted, maneuvering a drone to intercept an incoming squad. Mia, monitoring the energy output from the artifact, added, "It's sustainable too. Whatever power source this is, it's not depleting at the rate I would expect." As the battle raged, Zalara met with Thomas and his team under a temporary truce. "The Council fears what humanity could become if you regain your full capabilities. Long ago, humans were a force of balance and guardianship in the galaxy. When that balance was lost, your memory was erased to prevent further conflict." Thomas processed her words, the weight of history in them. "And now, you want to erase us again, to maintain your control?" "Not I," Zalara replied honestly. "I believe in the potential for peace, but I'm not sure the Council will agree unless you can prove that you pose no threat to galactic stability." The battle outside provided the backdrop to their tense negotiation. Thomas proposed, "Help us make them understand. Our re-emergence into the galaxy doesn't have to lead to war." Zalara nodded, her resolve firming. "I will do what I can. I'll argue for peace and cooperation, but prepare yourselves. Not all on the Council will be so easily persuaded." As the skirmish outside drew to a stalemate, both sides regrouped. Thomas, Zalara, Mia, and Ian planned their next steps, knowing that the outcome of this conflict would shape the future of human interaction with the galaxy. They were not only fighting for their survival, but for their rightful place among the stars. In the aftermath of the initial skirmish, an uneasy peace settled over the battlefield. Earth's skies, once filled with the threat of imminent destruction, now bore witness to tense negotiations. Dr. Thomas Harding, alongside Zalara, prepared to address the Galactic Council via a secure communication link set up in the lab under the still-active ancient shield. Zalara began the transmission, her image and that of the council members appearing on the large screens around the lab. "Council members," she started, her voice steady despite the weight of her words, "I stand with the humans on Earth, not as their captor but as their advocate. What we have witnessed here is not a threat, but a plea for recognition and a chance to coexist." Thomas then took the stage, his demeanor calm but authoritative. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council, we are the descendants of the civilization you feared enough to erase from collective memory. But we do not seek conflict. We seek to reclaim our place in the cosmos, not through war, but through the wisdom and protection we were once known to provide." The council members whispered among themselves, visibly shaken by the revelation and the display of Earth's defenses. Varex, still commanding the fleet in orbit, spoke up. "Dr. Harding, what guarantee can you offer that humanity will not disrupt the current galactic order?" Thomas responded with confidence. "Our technology, as you've seen, is primarily defensive. It was designed to protect, not conquer. We wish to share our advancements in peace, to contribute to the galaxy as we once did." As discussions continued, Mia and Ian worked in the background, ensuring the shield and communications remained stable. The debate among the council was heated, with some members calling for continued aggression, while others, swayed by Zalara's arguments, advocated for peace. Finally, the council's leader, an elder statesman named Gorvix, called for order. "We will take a recess to consider these developments. Dr. Harding, Zalara, please await our decision." During the tense wait, Thomas turned to Zalara, gratitude evident in his tone. "Whatever the decision, we owe you a great debt for standing with us today." Zalara nodded, her expression solemn. "I believe in the potential for peace and unity. Your fight is proof that the old ways of fear and suppression are no longer viable." Hours later, the council reconvened, and Gorvix addressed them all. "After considerable deliberation, we have decided to accept Earth's re-entry into the Galactic Council under provisional terms. Earth will reintroduce its technologies gradually, under supervision, to ensure stability. In return, the Galactic Council will assist Earth in re-establishing itself as a galactic power." The decision was met with mixed reactions, but the overriding sense was one of cautious optimism. As the transmission ended, cheers erupted in the lab. Humanity was once again a recognized member of the galactic community. In the following days, Earth prepared for its new role. Thomas, Mia, and Ian became key figures in the transition, working tirelessly to integrate Earth's unique technologies with those of the galaxy. Thomas stood before a gathering on Earth, broadcasted across the galaxy, concluding, "Today, we stand not just as survivors of a forgotten past, but as architects of a promising future. Let us move forward, not as rulers, but as guardians, as we once were, for the benefit of all civilizations." The story ended on a hopeful note, with Earth and the Galactic Council moving towards a future where cooperation and peace would hopefully prevail over fear and conflict, marking a new chapter in the cosmic saga of humanity.